So the first thing we are actually going to start with is you're gonna get your bowl back, and it's already been fired in the kiln. So it might be, since it dried off and everything, and it's been fired, it might be just a little bit dusty. So what I'd like you to start with, the first step, is you're gonna take everybody has a bucket with water and a sponge at your table. So you're gonna take your sponge, you're gonna wring it out. You don't want it to be sopping wet, you just want it to be a little damp. Wring it out. And you're just gonna lightly go over your bowl just to get rid of any dust that might be on your bowl, because we're going to be glazing and we want a smooth surface to work with. We're gonna take our sponge, we're gonna go over that a little bit, make sure there's no dust. Okay. So the next step is that, now if you look back there, we have our glaze all set up there, all the different colored glaze that you'll need. I'm going to call, at the beginning of class, I'm going to call you by table, and there's going to be 4 students that sit at a table, and you're able to paint your bowl with one color. Now, you might want to paint your bowl more than one color, and we're actually going to switch stations. So each table, table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4, table 6, each table is going to have one color glaze set at your table. And we're going to take turns at each table, depending on what color you want your bowl to be, and 4 students can sit at a table at each color. So I'm going to actually get one of those trays to show you what is on these trays. And at the beginning of each class, we're going to, one person is going to come over here. Let's say I start with my glaze, with the red glaze. Okay. Yes. Now, how did I know this was red?
You can see with your eyes.
Yes. Sometimes, though, your eyes can play tricks on you, because sometimes the glaze looks a little different before it dries and before it's painted. That's why we have these little sample tiles. So this is painted red.
Also says it.
So we have red, we have green, we have yellow, we have blue, different colors that are back there. But double check and look at the sample tile to make sure that you are selecting the color that you think you want. So the next step is that we are going to open these up here, and I'd like you, at the beginning of each class, I'm going to take one of these sticks here. We have two of these stirrers at a tray, because we have 2 glaze bottles. We're going to actually mix this for 15 seconds. Everybody look up at the clock. So we have small hand, which tells you what hour it is. We have the long hand, which tells you the minutes. And the red one tells you the seconds. So you have to, I'm going to start at 12. I'm going to stir for 15 seconds. What number does, yes, number 3. I'm going to wait until it gets to 3. I'm going to be stirring, 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 stirring. Now! Okay, done. Yes, thank you. I'm going to gently scoop off the extra glaze so you don't make a mess. We don't want to waste any glaze.
Wait till they're quiet. They're not paying attention.
I want them all to pay attention. I'll wait till everybody's ready. So I stir that for 15 seconds. Now, there's also 4 paintbrushes at a tray. There's how many students are going to be sitting at a table? Can anybody tell me? Yes, 4. Exactly. Now, this is a really interesting clay bowl here. And now something like this might be interesting to use, a variety of different colors. So that means you're going to be taking turns using each color glaze to paint your bowls. Now, so I'm going to close this up. Now at the end, when we're all done painting or glazing your bowls, there's a few steps I want to show you, but before we get to that, I want to ask you, can anybody tell me how many coats of glaze do you think we're going to use?
3.
I heard something, yes?
3.
3, yes, exactly. 3. Okay, so 3 coats of glaze. Now that means that it has to take some time to dry. So you have to wait. Oh, I'm gonna wait until everybody's done talking. You have to wait until your bowl is dry, and the way you can tell if it's dry is if it has a chalky look to it, and if it, you know, tell if it's dry. And then after that, you can layer. You use your second layer. So 3 layers. Now, you know, you might be getting a little. You might get bored while you're waiting for your glaze to dry, but that's why it's probably recommended to use more than one color. So let's say I use some red glaze here, then I might wait, as I'm waiting for my red glaze to dry, I might decide I want to go over to another table and I might switch with someone else. Maybe I want to paint this coil over here blue, and you know, paint different colors, and just make sure that each color gets how many layers?
3.
Let me hear everybody say it. 3! Yes, that's right, yes, 3. Okay.